Okay, how is everybody doing? I hope you enjoyed your day so far. I heard so many interesting talks that actually relates to what I'm going to talk about right now. So this is going to be a long story about a long journey, about the good, about the bad, about the ugly of data discovery. And I'm going to tell you how we evolved from a simple solution that didn't do so well to what we have so far. I'll tell you the end, so you won't be in such a tension, okay? There is a data discovery solution. It's called Dora. If you haven't tried it, go ahead to Slack, try it out, okay? Now let's see how we got there. Okay, so this is me. I'm Yael. I do AI right now. Even this picture is done with AI. But before that, I've been at Wix for 11 years. I did pretty much everything in the data field. And this challenge of data discovery was really a big part of what I've been doing. It's really went with me along all my career at Wix. So, before we start to talk about this challenge, let's talk about data, because I see a lot of familiar faces from the data field, but some of you are not. So what is data, and more specifically, what is data at Wix? So first thing you need to remember that data at Wix is, the way we work is a data match. There is a very long sentence here, but in the end, what it means that every team is responsible for their own data. Okay, so from storing, collecting, organizing, structure, reports, everything is done within the companies themselves. So this is really important thing to remember. Second thing you must remember about Wix is that we are a very, very big data company. So what does it mean? The most important number you'll see here is 32,000 and more features. This is relevant to a few months ago when I prepared these presentations. Right now we have more. The other very important number is 90. So I talked about data mesh, okay? Every team is responsible for their own data, which is 90 teams at Wix. This is crazy. Even more, they're divided into 138 domains. So you see a lot of diversity in the data at Wix. So why am I telling you all of this, okay? Data mesh and big data, bringing both of them together, one of the biggest challenges is data discovery, because once you do it, what you might get is a data swamp. So your lake is no more lake, you cannot swim in it, you start drowning. Why? Because there's lack of centralized management and governance. Every team pretty much does what it wants. Yeah, like the guild is trying to have standards and conventions, but in the end, the responsibility is in the companies themselves. So if I have a question, who do I ask it? Where do I find it? What the hell am I doing? Where is my feature to answer this question? So finding the right data assets become a tiring process, and data owners really become bottlenecks to generate insights and just do data discovery in general. One thing I forgot to mention is that why do you need data discovery? Okay, what are you going to do with all this data you're going to discover? So it goes to answering questions in order to make decisions. This is kind of the old world. Right now it might go to AI, right? To generate insights, to do more business for Wix and so more. So really you need data everywhere. Okay, so I think that we now agree that we need data, and in big data and data mesh, it's hard to find your data. Okay, so obviously we started working on a solution for that problem, for that challenge. So let's talk about this challenge, about this journey. So around 7 or 8 years ago, we started developing a solution for self-serve data discovery. We really wanted to solve the problem of finding the right person to ask your question. So there were, for this self-serve solution, there were really 3 main challenges. So first of all, the user, the consumer, needs to speak the data language. What does it mean speaking the data language? Let's say I'm a product in premium, and my question is, how many premium sites we have at Wix? Pretty obvious question. So I look at the data lake, and I'm looking for premium. But really, the asset I'm looking for, the feature I'm looking for is called is premium. But you also have was premium, premium active, is premium active, and so on and so on. So you actually have tens of features that are called premium in some way. So you need to speak the language. Finding the right feature within those 32,000 and something features that we have in our data lake, another really big problem. So even if you know it is premium, which table, where is it located in our data? And last but not least, you need to know SQL, okay? To reach your data, to extract it from our data lake, you need to know SQL. This is not a skill that all the people in Wix have. So our first attempt was Data Explorer. This was launched like 7 years ago, more or less. It's a wizard-based app to do data discovery. It was pretty limited in the type of questions you could ask, and it only covered 100 tables. And it really was a solution for consumers not to need to know SQL, okay? This is the challenge that it tackles. You still needed to know the data language in order to find your right feature. And it really didn't cover all the features, so selecting it was a little less hard, but still a challenge. So you can imagine this was not a very popular tool. Time went by, and here we are at the AI era. I welcome everybody. And now we have a new way to try to solve this challenge. So pretty much at the beginning, we understood that we need to think like an analyst looking for a piece of data. Okay, so we thought, okay, you're a data professional, analyst, data engineer, what do you do when you get a business question? So here you can see the main concerns that a data professional would have trying to answer your question. So first of all, it needs to understand the question. What the hell are you asking about? Is it about the weather, the way to Jerusalem, or is it about Wix? Next one is classification, what the question is about. Is it about employees? Is it about sites, users, accounts, tickets in customer care, and so on and so on. So actually classify your question. This is a very important concern because we need to narrow down the number of features to look through for the right answer, okay? Now we narrowed it a little bit, okay? We have a question, it's about Wix, and we narrowed it a little bit with the classification. But what about finding the actual one feature, one data asset that will answer this question? We're staying with how many premium sites, okay? Everything is relevant to this question. So as I said, there are at least 10 features that are called premium in some way. How would you decide the right one? Next, building the SQL query, executing the SQL query. I think this is pretty much straightforward. And then you have to understand the results and actually communicate them to the person who asked the question. So this is our six concerns. And pretty soon, we understood that we need to create a flow from this one, an agentic flow from this one, handling all of the concerns. Since the biggest LLM model at the time was, I think it was GPT 3.5 Turbo, we took only 32K tokens at the time. We couldn't fit it with our biggest data model. It was Sites data model, and it has like 2,000 and something features, and it couldn't fit the LLM available at the time. So, as I said, we separated into different agents, each one handling one of the concerns. Okay, so the next phase of Data Explorer was called Data Playground. Okay, it was still a wizard-based solution, but it came with a bonus. It came with an AI assistant. Her name was Anna. She was a good friend of mine, and she could answer questions in Slack. it looks like a single agent, but actually, as I said, behind the thing were 6-1, each one handling different concern. But the idea was that the user could ask his question in natural language. No more picking a feature, no more than knowing the data language. It's English now, or Ukraine, or Hebrew, by the way. It will work as well. The user got back in the end. Here you can see the data playground. He got a report of results of the question he asked. In this case, how many sites are currently premium site active? This is not the right number, okay? It's a very old number, okay? So don't challenge me on this, please. So that's very cool. The user could keep playing with the data, get more insights. But how did Anna actually do it? How did she pick the right feature from 32,000 features? This is crazy. Okay, so we're going to focus on this part of the process, the data discovery itself. In general, I divided it into two parts. You have the online part, the offline part. Naturally, I turned to RAG at that point. I hope that everybody knows retrieval augmented generation. The idea was to narrow down the options for Anna to select from even more after the classification. Okay, so let's say she's have around 2,000 options to select from right now. This is too big for the LLM. How do we narrow it down? So I tried really everything. Okay, we started with a really, really simple embedding of the metadata of the different features in our data warehouse, really naive. We tried to add more metadata, to remove metadata, to everything in order to make the RAG process select the right feature. I will say just one thing about RAG. It's a semantic search over Vespa in our case, provided by a great data sciences Vespa team. It got the question itself in natural language and was supposed to return a list of the most appropriate feature to answer it, features. Okay, so this really didn't work. I started looking for different options in order to solve this problem. And what I came up with was reverse hide embedding. So reverse hide, I'm going to read it because I can't really say it. Hypothetical document embedding RAG process. This means that in the offline process, an LLM, or actually two LLM models, ran over all the features in our data warehouse and wrote questions those features could answer. So here you see, is premium site active? You can see example of 3 questions that the LLM generated. How many sites are currently active in premium? How many sites are not currently active in premium? And how many sites have currently active premium status set to false or now? Okay, now that the online process runs, the user asks his question, the semantic search comparing a question to a question. Okay, this was mind-blowing. The results were amazing. And besides the fact that it's really worked, and we'll talk about the result in a second, we actually tackled here the 3 challenges that we talked about. The user asked this question in English. It didn't need to select the feature itself. Anna did it for him with the RAG process. And last but not least, using data playground engine behind the thing, the SQL was generated and actually executed. So hey, we have data discovery. So success rate stood at 83%, meaning that 83% of the time Anna chose the right feature in order to answer the user question. Really amazing results. It was a very, very long process. It looked easy, but not. I was so happy. I was feeling, that's it. I'm going to quit. I'm going to do only lectures about it and stop working altogether. But then came MAG. Okay, so moving forward 6 months, Modern LLMs can now handle much larger context windows. How large? They can fit all novel. They can fit all the Harry Potters. Some of them might fit more than one book of Harry Potter. So this is like game changer. We could now fit all the data models into an LLM and let it pick the right feature for us. Wow, great news, right? Yes, but how are we sure this is going to work? So, there's a very popular test in the LLM world called needle in the haystack. In general, it tests the ability of an LLM to retrieve or cherry pick a piece of information from a large context. Okay, so there are three things that actually influence the success of the test. First of all, size of the haystack. You didn't hear it from me first, you probably heard it today. The bigger the context, the most hallucination and confusion you get from the LLM. Second, and something we can't really control, is where is the needle in that haystack, the beginning, the end, the middle. If it's in the beginning or the end, better. In the middle, the results are so-so. And last but not least, the model retrieval capabilities. So this is something we can definitely control, right? Wait, I don't want to show the results yet. I took a few of those tests and I looked at the results. It's public, you can look for it, Google for it, you can run them yourself. It's open source most of the time. And you can have them, and you can see which model excel in this test. Okay, now this is pretty much similar to finding the right data in a large data model. It's pretty much the same, right? So let's write our own test. I took a large set of evaluation set, a lot of questions that users asked along the way, Anna, because she was already running in production. And I knew the right answers for those questions. As I had users tag the success, Anna's success. And I could write my own test, just run with different models, let them pick the right feature for the user's answer. Now, since I had the open source results, I knew which model to start from. I tried mostly Gemini 2.5 if they were like the best of it. The Gemini is still the best one for this task. So if you are like trying something similar, start with that or Google it and find the right model for you. Okay, so the results were amazing. The last two contestants were Gemini 2.5 Flash, Gemini 2.5 Pro. One is faster and cheaper, one is more expensive and much slower. So obviously we went with Gemini 2.5 Flash and we increased the accuracy from 83% to 95%. Wow, amazing. And not only that, we reduced the complexity of the system by, wow, much more simple now. So again, I thought that's it, drop the mic, go home, go live on giving lectures about data discovery. Amazing, that's it, thank you. But as stuff always happened, LLM and AI kept on growing, changing, evolving. New solutions came along, new models came out, and so on, and other solutions started popping up. So this is actually not the end of the journey for data discovery at Wix. One of the solutions that came along was Dora. I hope that you've tried it, as I said at the beginning. So Dora is right now the data org assistant. It was created by Yanir Gavri and Yonatan Ohana. Maybe they will talk about it next year. And it's really based on the lesson learned from Anna. Okay, so it uses MAG, other stuff that we tried out there. They also know what to avoid, okay, like difficult RAG processes. But it used newer models, methods that were not available when we developed Anna, so MCPs and LLM as a judge and much, much more, and it keeps evolving. So again, Dora is live on Slack. Try it out. It will get better with time. That's it. Thank you for listening. I hope you found it interesting, learned something new. I hope you can take something for that to your own projects. If you have any questions, I'm Rafa on Slack. Really easy to remember. Thank you.